From our studios at the corner of 8th and Walton in Bentonville, Arkansas, welcome to Saturday Morning Meeting, brought to you in part by Dun & Bradstreet Credibility Corp. Saturday Morning Meeting covers Walmart, Sam's Club, and the consumer product companies that are represented on the racks and shelves throughout the country and around the world. I'm Derek Ridenauer, and our focus is on the insights, trends, and best practices to help you as a supplier grow your business with the world's largest retailer. Thank you for joining us. And coming up today, I'll be talking with Matt Fifer from Store of the Community, and reviewing this week's top news stories with me are Tom Muccio and Ross Cully. But first, the headlines. January 24th, Sam's Club announced plans to lay off 2,300 workers. CNN Money reports that just under half of these layoffs are the result of a restructuring of grocery departments. Right now, the fresh sections have 6 managers. That number is being slashed to 3. Sam's Club is encouraging associates and managers who are losing their jobs to apply for positions within the company. At the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Walmart announced that over the next 5 years, it will invest $10 million in a fund intended to support product and manufacturing innovation in the United States. The funds will provide grants to manufacturing leaders who work to expand and improve U.S. manufacturing, and as part of Walmart's long-term strategy of sourcing more domestically produced goods. Reuters reports that Walmart will be stepping up its supplier compliance process in China following criticisms from China Central Television about lax standards. Walmart China plans to expand its documentation requirements while also providing a computerized system to assist suppliers in their own compliance efforts. Arkansas Business reports that despite the recent data leak at Target stores, most consumers aren't taking any special precautions to secure their financial information while shopping. A recent Associated Press poll found that while consumers are concerned about data protection, relatively few have taken specific actions, such as paying with cash instead of credit cards or checking their credit reports to protect themselves. The standoff between Walmart and Alaska's fisheries has come to an end. The Walmart Green Room states that Walmart has reviewed the Responsible Fisheries Management Program and has deemed it as an acceptable program for governing the sustainable sourcing of fish and seafood. Walmart and Alaska's fishing industry had been at odds over the decision by Alaskan Fisheries to drop certification by the Marine Stewardship Council. And finally, both Walmart and Target shoppers have the opportunity to watch the Super Bowl in style this year. Morning News USA reports that both retailers offer deals on home entertainment electronics, including televisions, Blu-ray players, and accessories. Check out Walmart and supplier news as is reported on walmartnewsnow.com. And we're joined now by our panel, Tom Muccio, retired from Procter & Gamble after 10 years, and Ross Cully, partner at the Harvest Group. Guys, thank you. The big news that came out this week is that Sam's Club was laying off 2,300 associates. Now, really, in the grander scheme of things, probably not that significant. Obviously, it's very unfortunate when anyone loses their job. But Ross, what is your take on this? Was this really newsworthy?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit unfair, the negative press that it got. I mean, all companies are looking to streamline. To me, the big takeaway, if I'm a supplier at Walmart, was the way that they did it. They reduced their management based on club size performance in terms of sales. And so if I'm a supplier, the lesson I take from this story is I can't manage my business on the average. Every club, every store is not created equal. And so just like they're looking to pare back labor based on sales rates, I need to spend my resources and my time based on sales rates as well.
And looking at what's different about those unique clubs.
Yeah,
and looking
absolutely.
at each club as its independent business.
I think the other thing is from a training standpoint, there's going to be people in those clubs that are going to get additional responsibility. And so I think from a Sam's Club standpoint, they'll be able to raise those people up, and there'll probably be some promotions in the years to come.
Tom?
Yeah, for me, it's a real hot button. When you had a company with 2 million associates and they're doing what any good business would do with 2,300, they're doing it in the right way, and that hits the headlines instead of talking about the jobs they're providing for the vets, the jobs they're providing for handicapped, the opportunity for people to move up in their organization with promotions. They get hammered for minimum wage jobs when their average wage is more like $11 to $12. And those entry-level jobs, that's how you learn, and you have the chance to move up in a company that's like that. And
well, Doug McMillan, CEO now,
absolutely,
will be in the next week. That's where he started.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to give a balanced press, why don't they talk about things like the gap between this wealth gap? If you take a look at Doug's new salary versus the average employee, is more like 50 to 1 versus the U.S. average of 350 to 1. And any other incentives that he has or any other compensation that he gets over and above his salary is either incentive-based or results-based. So how can you argue about that? Because the shareholders and the rest of the company wins if he gets it.
Now, and layoffs in January in retail aren't really that uncommon. I think that happens every year.
Hire
I mean, I
for
was in
Christmas.
stores.
Yeah.
You hire up for Christmas.
Yeah, I think another thing to be interesting is all of this savings. I mean, we see that there's execution issues, that there's been talk of labor being reduced, but when they pair these middle management jobs, are they actually going to reinvest it in some execution jobs and increase OSA? It'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I don't know how many new jobs they created last year, but I bet you it was a big multiple of 2,300.
Well, and they went in November. They announced they were going to hire 55,000 people. They were going to promote them, and so if you just promoted 55,000 people and now you're doing 2,300 cuts, that's
Yeah, I mean, and most of those, probably won't be cuts. Those will be people, if they're good people and performing, they'll try to find them another job within Walmart or in another club or whatever. They're not going to lose good people that are contributors if they can help it.
just simply reallocating
Absolutely.
their resources and putting them where they really need them, which are those higher performing clubs, cutting out some of the fat in the
Absolutely.
underperforming clubs.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the next story that made news this week. The U.S. Conference of Mayors got together with Walmart. They're going to be really pushing more Made in America jobs, similar to what they announced last year, the $50 billion over the next 10 years. Tom, I want to come back to you on this one. What's your take on this story?
Well, I think this is terrific. And if you look at the numbers from 1980 till today, in 1980 we had 20,000 manufacturing jobs. Today we have 10,000. And there's million. There were 20 million jobs,
Okay.
and now there are 10 million. So we've lost 10 million jobs in that time frame. If you look at that and compare it versus unemployment, where there's 13 million unemployed today, I mean, this is a big deal. If we can restore manufacturing jobs, and those manufacturing jobs, there's a knock-on effect because they're going to be buying raw materials and other things from other U.S. suppliers. So this is it's a big, bold, and very good move for the United States, in my view.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great move by Walmart. And if I'm a supplier, I'm looking to leverage this as a first mover advantage. You're looking at the ROI versus your cost overseas. But I think the other win for Walmart that can get lost here is those manufacturing jobs. A lot of those people are going to turn around and spend those paychecks at Walmart. And as they look at their core customer being under pressure, bringing those jobs back should help sales.
Well, if you're a mayor, that's obviously what you want too, because mayors are funded mostly by sales tax. This is going to come back to their own communities. Plus, you have a housing spur that goes along with this. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. As I see it, you bring jobs back to America, you put more people back to work, income tax grows, sales tax grows.
It'd be nice to see other suppliers or other companies join in this and make this a national program much more, with Walmart getting the initiative to get it started.
It'll be interesting to see if some of the others just jump in there, because obviously if things are being made in America, Target's going to benefit, Kohl's going to benefit, Toys R Us will benefit. All of them have a reason to do that. Now, the downside could obviously be if prices truly are higher because they're sourcing it here. Can that impact Walmart if Target continues to outsource, or other retailers rather continue to outsource to China or other countries? Could we see some EDLC erosion here?
I suppose it's possible, but many of the markets are seeing wage inflations, the Chinas, the Vietnams, the India, and plus you have the longer lead time in terms of responsiveness. If you have a hot item and it's made in the U.S., you're going to be able to get more of those a lot faster than if it's made in China or
Which is 90 days on the water plus clearing customs,
right,
so you're looking
exactly,
4 months out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it'll vary by category for sure. And then I don't know that the overseas sourcing will just completely go away. So I don't know if it's an either or, if it may be an and approach for a lot of companies.
It'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Final thing, we have about a minute left here. Walmart's going to be stepping up some of their standards, compliance for suppliers in China. Some of the Chinese television reported there were some lax standards. Do you see that coming to the U.S. as well and really impacting suppliers globally?
I think so. Yeah, I think the bigger Walmart becomes, the more dependent they become on ensuring that their supply base is good. They can't afford to have recalls. They can't afford the bad publicity hits them. And the challenge they have is they put pressure on suppliers for cost, and that can tend to lead people to maybe want to provide less quality So you take that risk. Is there a value balance here that makes more sense for Walmart?
Okay, final word real quick.
Best suppliers will figure out how to balance compliance and cost and have a transparent conversation with Walmart about it.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to sit down with Matt Fifer. He's the founder of Store the Community, give you some ideas on what you can do to help drive sales at Walmart. All coming up when Saturday Morning Meeting continues.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
GigWalk is an on-demand mobile workforce that can collect data and do work at retail. Businesses use GigWalk for retail audits, merchandising, and much more. With 350,000 smartphone-enabled workers available on demand, you get unprecedented speed and coverage across the US, Canada, and the UK. And all work is reviewed for quality and accuracy. Visit gigwalk.com to learn more.
Everyone visualizes how amazing it would be to be an Olympian.
It's the kind of thing you've dreamed about your entire life.
When the Olympics come around, anything can happen.
You try to go as big as you can.
You have to be inspired, you have to be motivated.
I'm gonna be ready to go for Sochi.
I am so excited to be headed to the 2014 Sochi Olympic Winter Games, bringing you exclusive coverage and representing Northwest Arkansas. It all begins February 6th, right here on KNWA.
When the weather changes, your life changes.
And that's why we're always tracking and monitoring the weather, and when it does get bad, we'll let you know about it, protecting the people that you care about. Northwest Arkansas's weather can change in a moment's notice, so when it does become severe, we'll be on air and online with your family's safety as our #1 priority.
Dan Scoff, Gina DeVecchio, and Clint Boone, the meteorologists of the Northwest Arkansas Weather Authority, proudly serving Northwest Arkansas.
If you notice, we're called the Razorback Nation. Razorback Nation. We eat, drink, and breathe Razorbacks.
Aaron Peters, Alyssa Orange, Chris Fry, and Mike Irwin. If it's Razorback sports, you're gonna find it here.
Nobody covers the Hogs like we do. The Razorback Nation.
Your one source for Razorback sports. It's the state's largest sports team, the Razorback Nation.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Meeting. We are joined now by Matt Fifer, the CEO and co-founder of Store the Community. And you've been kind of busy over your career, some time at Walmart. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, so I spent about 13 years at Walmart, most of that time, about 5 years, I guess, in the field, both Walmart and Sam's Club. Then I moved to the office in 1998, kind of did the home office rotation through people, marketing, and ended my career in 2005 with an expat assignment working for Walmart in Tokyo.
And marketing really kind of got you into what we're going to talk about today, which is Store the Community. Now, as a supplier, when I hear Store the Community, I'm thinking about Store the Community reports that I'm running in Retail Inc. I'm talking about modulars. I'm talking about different clustering and what stores are really traded for my product. But you kind of take a little different spin on the whole Store the Community part of it.
Yeah, so for us as a marketing company, it really is about understanding what is going on within specific communities. And so whether it's a local golf tournament, whether it is Major League Baseball spring training, you know, what is it that is on the consumer's mind when they're shopping in those particular stores? What's going on in those communities? And how can we help suppliers take advantage of those opportunities to create excitement at the stores in a way that resonates with those consumers, and most importantly, or perhaps as importantly, also gets the store managers excited about participating.
Kind of like the golf tournament that comes to Northwest Arkansas, the P&G Open or the P&G Classic that's here, the LPGA event in September. Those type of events are what you're looking to cover and do?
That's exactly right. So we've got visibility to an enormous database of events that are taking place all over the country. And what we're able to do is look on a department, a category, and an item basis and understand historically what takes place inside a store when a golf tournament comes to town or when a rodeo comes to town. And so for us, it's about looking at other communities across the country, understanding what's happened historically, and then we can build programs that support specific suppliers because we know that those consumers are going to have those products on their mind when those events take place.
So how is this different from hiring a demo company to come out and do some demos in the store, or a club, because this is Sam's Club
Sure.
as well? So what sets you apart, and what's the point of difference here?
Sure. Well, again, I think there's three things that really set us apart. One is really that that laser focus on specific communities. It's not, we don't typically design programs that would execute exactly the same way in 2,000 or 3,000 stores at a time. It really is about understanding what's unique about that store, what's unique about that community, what's taking place in the community, and having a laser focus to develop those events and promotions that are going to resonate with those consumers. The second thing is, having grown up inside Walmart, both in the field and at the office, having managed programs at store level, having managed programs on Walmart's marketing team, we know very well how to get things done at a Walmart store. And I think that's where a lot of the agencies that do brilliant work creatively fall apart, is they don't really understand when a store manager says yes, maybe they're not always saying yes, or maybe they don't know exactly what they're saying yes to. And so we put a real emphasis on store level execution, getting things done at the store. And then the third thing is, it's all about return on investment. And so I think impressions are important. I think that driving trial is important, but for us it's all about, in some cases it's about helping our customers get incremental display on the sales floor. And so they're able to use that incremental display as a way to pay for what we do and drive that immediate, measurable, predictable and dependable return on investment.
And this is not about going around the buyer. Certainly you guys are
no.
working with the buyer, suppliers are working with the buyer. But one of the things that whenever I go to a buyer and present out some plans that we want to do for next year, and maybe a great thought out, well prepared plan, the problem becomes store execution. In fact,
Yes.
Walmart's got a whole team working with store execution. Nothing against Walmart, but when you've got 4,000 stores, 4,000 different store managers, probably 12,000 different assistant managers, obviously things get a little missed and dropped.
Yes.
You have the ability to kind of cut through all of that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said what you said. I mean, this is absolutely not about trying to sidestep the marketers, the merchants, absolutely not. This is recognizing that the store manager still has tremendous autonomy in their store to support programs that fit within strict and specific guidelines provided by the home office. But we have got an ability that Walmart's marketing team would not have, to look one store at a time and develop programs that are not just going to create excitement in a general sense, but are going to create excitement at those stores in a very specific sense, because they're very closely tied to what's taking place in the community.
Interesting thing that I learned when I was at Walmart, bike rallies. We have Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue here.
Yes.
Sturgis, obviously a big one in South Dakota. One thing you don't typically think about on bike rallies are sleeping bags
Yes.
and tents,
Yes.
and having the ability to dispose of those quickly.
That's right. Yeah, and so again, we've got a database that has compiled information that's closely tied to each one of there are hundreds and hundreds of bike rallies that take place across the country every year. And so we're able to do some predictive analysis based on the categories and the items that pop when a typical bike rally would come to town.
Okay,
You're exactly right.
We're going to take a break real quick, and when we come back, we'll talk more about some of those specialized events, but also retailtainment and what that can mean to Walmart as well as suppliers. All of that coming up as we continue our conversation with Matt Fifer, the CEO and founder of Store of the Community, as Saturday Morning Meeting continues.
At 906 in Bentonville, do you know where your reps are? You could, and you should. Introducing MV Retail, the smart device-driven, dashboard providing, you need to know the truth, and you need to know it now, team management system. Visit us online to learn more, because in the world of retail, wondering is bad, but knowing is good.
At Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, we can help your business meetings get out of the box. Way out of the box. With refreshing views of the museum's 120-acre grounds, breathtaking architecture, spacious meeting and presentation venues, and top-notch catering from 11, our award-winning restaurant, not to mention more than 400 works of art by American masters. Your meeting at Crystal Bridges will be anything but in the box. Call us today and let our team of professional event planners arrange your next meeting at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art.
The 2014 Sochi Olympics begin February 6th here on KNWA. Don't miss a minute of our exclusive coverage as I travel to Russia to bring you the Olympics.
When the weather changes, your life changes.
And that's why we're always tracking and monitoring the weather, and when it does get bad, we'll let you know about it, protecting the people that you care about. Northwest Arkansas's weather can change in a moment's notice, so when it does become severe, we'll be on air and online with your family's safety as our #1 priority.
Dan Scoff, Gina DeVecchio, and Clint Boone, the meteorologists of the Northwest Arkansas Weather Authority, proudly serving Northwest Arkansas.
If you notice, we're called the Razorback Nation. Razorback Nation. We eat, drink, and breathe Razorbacks.
Aaron Peters, Alyssa Orange, Chris Fry, and Mike Irwin. If it's Razorback sports, you're gonna find it here.
Nobody covers the Hogs like we do. The Razorback Nation.
Your one source for Razorback sports. It's the state's largest sports team, the Razorback Nation.
And welcome back to Saturday Morning Meeting. We are continuing our conversation with Matt Fifer, the CEO and founder of Store of the Community. And before we went to break, we were talking about retailtainment, particularly some of those bike rallies, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, obviously a big one here in Northwest Arkansas. But it's not just about the big bike rally and things that, there's so many more things that come into that the suppliers may or may not be aware of.
Sure. And
certainly the stores need to be aware of. And let's talk a little bit about retailtainment and how Store of the Community can kind of help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, we spend a fair amount of time working with suppliers on campaigns that would execute over hundreds, if not thousands, of stores. But where, you know, the sweet spot for us is really direct engagement at the store level, helping the store manager have, you know, that panoramic view, if you will, of their community. Help them do their 30, 60, 90-day planning by understanding very well what's happening within their community. And then by way of developing these promotions at store level, then bringing on the supplier support. I'll tell you that, you know, we've talked about this before, that the pendulum has kind of swung back and forth a little bit, particularly over the last 7 or 8 years. When we started our business back in 2005, it was just after I left Walmart, and we placed almost all of our emphasis on parking lot events. I mean, almost everything at that time that we did was on the parking lot of a Walmart store. 2007, we get a memorandum from Walmart saying no more parking lot events.
And that's when Project Impact came in.
Well, it was just right on the front side. Yeah, and then Project Impact and the Clean Store Initiative came, and there was this decluttering of the Walmart stores, and so you saw retailtainment didn't go completely away. I'll tell you, and I spoke to you about this earlier, the DSD suppliers in particular,
which is direct store delivery.
Direct store delivery. So your Coca-Colas, your Miller Coors, et cetera, they have always been the best when it comes to retailtainment. They're the most engaged at the store level. Their programs are typically executed the best of them all. And I'll tell you that even during that decluttering of the Walmart stores, you still saw a lot of those programs taking place. And that's where we kind of got our start, is with those DSD suppliers, and so our business stayed healthy. But I'll tell you that over the last couple of years, and particularly in the last year, you're starting to see an increased emphasis on retailtainment again. And I would say it's probably at the highest level that it's been, at least in the last 10 years that I've been watching it fairly closely. And there is a significant emphasis being placed back on new store grand openings.
And those are always a big deal. I mean, I was in store planning 7 years, domestic, internationally, and the more events that we had on the parking lot and in the store that created that excitement, obviously the better our sales were going to be during the grand opening.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think there's been a lot of research done over the years that shows that if a consumer is having a good time, or at least not having a bad time when they're in the stores. And you know, Bob Conley used to always talk about the nag factor. I mean, it's why there's candy at the registers, because the kids like, Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have this? You've got the nag factor, and if the kids are happy and Mom and Dad are happy and not hating their shopping experience, they're going to stay there longer, and if they stay there longer, they're going to spend more money. And so, you know, retailtainment cannot be viewed as a check mark, something that a supplier gets as part of an overall marketing plan for a new brand or what have you. It really is all about creating that fun and festive shopping environment that Walmart has historically been so well known for, that gets a consumer to come because they know it's fun, stay longer because they're having a good time, and more items just happen to go in the basket as a direct result.
Let's talk about some of the things that you do, because I'm a small regional supplier, so I may not have the budget that a P&G has to be able to go out and do some really big retailtainment event. But there are some things that you can do in terms of bringing suppliers together to kind of share some of that cost, which makes it very affordable for the smaller suppliers to get their product in, that may have just gotten their product in. Or the big ones, you just co-opt and do that together. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'll give you one great example. We worked with a video game supplier last year, one of the biggest, and they had what was the 5th largest video game launch of the year. But they didn't have a lot of funding to put against it themselves, and so what they charged us with was go and find us a couple of partners. And so we did. We brought in a beverage company, we brought in another CPG company that funded the lion's share of the program, secured for both of those companies incremental display space. And as a result of the program and the attention that we drew, not only to the product, but to the category more broadly, we grew that business year over year by 125%. Not 25%, double, and 25%. So, you know, again, that program, I won't give you the specifics of it, I guess, but it's really more about driving attention to the category, driving attention to the title, and bringing people nose to nose with that product in the store.
So if the budget's not that big, you've got to be able to partner, and that you can pair those different suppliers
That's
up.
right.
Because at the end of the day, there are a couple things that, as a supplier, I got to drive sales, not just for my company, but also for Walmart. Because the more I drive for Walmart, the more a bigger supplier I get to become.
Yes.
But not just in terms of volume, but in terms of partnership. And that's really what this is all about, is developing those partnerships to make sure that everybody wins.
And it doesn't hurt that we did not follow the gold rush to Northwest Arkansas trying to capitalize on Walmart and these 1,250 supplier teams being here. We've grown up here, we understand the business very well, and we're an EDLC operation. So, you know, we are very, very creative in building programs that are really easy to stomach financially because there's not a lot of fluff that's built into them.
Okay, Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Founder, CEO of Store of the Community. And we will be right back as Saturday Morning Meeting continues.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office, the best office location for businesses working with the world's largest retailer. Bentonville Plaza offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area, including custom designed suites and an on-site fitness center and restaurant. Pre-leasing opportunities are currently available for new construction. Call 479-200-1112 today.
Stay tuned to KNWA because I'm headed to Sochi for the 2014 Olympic Winter Games. You won't want to miss any of our exclusive coverage from Russia. It all starts right here on KNWA February 6th.
When the weather changes, your life changes.
And that's why we're always tracking and monitoring the weather, and when it does get bad, we'll let you know about it, protecting the people that you care about. Northwest Arkansas's weather can change in a moment's notice, so when it does become severe, we'll be on air and online with your family's safety as our #1 priority.
Dan Scoff, Gina DeVecchio, and Clint Boone, the meteorologists of the Northwest Arkansas Weather Authority, proudly serving Northwest Arkansas.
If you notice, we're called the Razorback Nation. Razorback Nation. We eat, drink, and breathe Razorbacks.
Aaron Peters, Alyssa Orange, Chris Fry, and Mike Irwin. If it's Razorback sports, you're gonna find it here.
Nobody covers the Hogs like we do. The Razorback Nation.
Your one source for Razorback sports. It's the state's largest sports team, the Razorback Nation.
Everyone visualizes how amazing it would be to be an Olympian.
It's the kind of thing you've dreamed about your entire life.
When the Olympics come around, anything can happen.
You try to go as big as you can.
You have to be inspired, you have to be motivated.
I'm going to be ready to go for Sochi.
I am so excited to be headed to the 2014 Sochi Olympic Winter Games, bringing you exclusive coverage and representing Northwest Arkansas. It all begins February 6th right here on KNWA.
Thanks to our guests for joining us this week, and thank you for taking the time to join us. Please join us next week when our featured guest will be John O'Leary of Rising Above. John knows firsthand how to be a victor in the face of life's most staggering difficulties. And during the Olympics, Saturday morning meeting will begin 2 minutes earlier than usual at 6:28 p.m. We'll see you next Saturday.